So today we're going to do a walking tour of the former concentration camp called PLASZOW, which is it's the labor camp and the concentration camp that was featured in Schindler's List. So this was a labor camp. So what happened was everybody that was fit or they felt could work, they moved here, because this is in Krakow. This is actually, Auschwitz is about 40 minutes outside of the city in another town, but this site, PLASZOW, is right in the city itself. Here we go. This is immediately you see something that tells you that you're in a place of a former concentration camp.
So first of all, we have to find ourselves on it. That's an aerial photo that is very useful right here. And by the way, selectors, you will find some of those photos and plaques right here, just all around the place, all around the camp. It's a part of the very first exhibition that appears right here more than 2 years ago. And that's in fact the very first exhibition of the museum that starts right here, that started already in January this year. It's PLASZOW Museum that is associated with Museum of Krakow, but it is somehow independent institution right here. I promise you the place first of all is lectures of our position. So here we go. Yeah, so we can say that somehow we are in the middle of the camp. And as you said, so it doesn't look this way, definitely, right? Because it looks like we are on the edge of the camp, and even those signs right here, they will tell you that. But in fact, we are in the middle of the camp, because it's like just the whole area right here, 80 hectares right here was the place of the camp. Right here, you can see the grey house, so-called grey house, the building, which is just behind the photo right here. Now it's like just when it comes to what it was, somehow we know now. It's like just maybe the question like why the place was organized here, why the labor and finally the concentration camp took place exactly right here. When you look at the map of Krakow, this place, surroundings right here, we can say that was a quiet, hidden place between two hills right here. And the place had so many functions important right here for Nazi Germans during the Second World War. Now why? Because the place right here had this proximity, was close to the ghetto, to the Jewish ghetto, that was just 2 kilometers from here. Also the place was really close to factories, to production plants, and also railway line was also very close. So all of those things, they were together right here. Now, how the place was organized, we can say that somehow two lines kind of cross, and we are in the middle of this cross right now. This cross organized and showed different functions of the camp. Because the first important street is right here in the middle. Nowadays we see only that part right there. The rest of it is a kind of path, kind of land road right here. That was called Bergstrasse. Bergstrasse organized the camp in this way, that the northern part of it, right here, was, we can say, the proper camp. The camp, the place for prisoners, the place where prisoners lived, right here, with the main place you will see today, just almost visible, at least in some parts right there, that was Appelplatz, so roll call area, surrounded by barracks right here, so we can say residential part, let's say. Now, it's like just if you think about the southern part of it, so the whole area just right there, the southern part from Bergstrasse, right here there were workshops, there was production. Yeah, so people worked right here. Not only in the camp people worked, because also they were taken outside of the camp, and they worked in so many different places in the city, and all of that obviously was slave labor, slave work. But right here was the production part, let's say here, and the second line right here, there were two streets, and this one you can see, that was Hauptstrasse and Essestrasse, and that was in fact the German part of the camp, because there was a place of administration, there was a place also for Travniki Manor, so officially called as Ukrainian Guards right here. That was also the place of SS residences right there, with also the house of the villa of Amon Gett. So those parts we have right here once again. Right here prisoners, right here their work, and right here the guards and also the administration. Also, I can show you on this photo. I can show you our way more or less, because first we'll see the main gate, which was right there, that direction. Then his lectures we'll see. Also, I'll tell you more about what it was before the camp. You will see the place of the upper Platz of local area. You'll see the place where barracks were. Also, you'll see some sites. In fact, these lectures 3 sites of mass murder, of mass killing, right here. And like I said, these lectures will finish in a very same place right here after more or less 2 hours. Was the main street, like this lectures the name says. But this lectures right here. We have the German part of the camp. The gate was just right here, just almost a few meters, just like the place this white vehicle right there stands. And this photo you can see on your right hand, it's in fact this lecture is the photo of the main gate. Of the main gate is like just to the beginning of the camp. The very first building that you cannot see right here, but you can find it on the photo, was the camp headquarters. Also the place where commander of the camp also had some offices right here. There was a U-shaped building right here, and one corner of it you can see with the courtyard in the middle. The building lost in fact 2 wings of it in 1944. Why? Because it's like just with this main road, with this main street, Germans they decided to bring the railway line right here. So there was this railway siding, yeah, so dead end right there to bring simply just the trains to unload it, to load it, yeah. So because of technical reasons, this camp headquarters was rebuilt. Very on your left, and do not ask me what color we have right here, just the one right here just in front of us with number 10. First of all, I told you that there was a gate. Yeah, there was a main gate of the camp. So the guardhouse was just right here, with the telephone exchange, with the radio station. Slightly bit later, most likely the place of roll call area, or maybe later with different barracks. I'll tell you more about how important radio station was right here, and how the radio station in fact was and is remembered. So that was the second place where Amon Get lived, or Amon Gut we should say lived. Because obviously just let's say we associate Amon Get with the villa, yeah, which is the building that exists, but in fact the villa was one of 3 buildings that Amon Get lived in this camp. This one was number 2. So whenever you listen to stories of Amon Get's maidens like Helen Hirsch and also Helen Rosenzweig in a movie, have you ever seen? Quite linked to the building that you can see here on a photo. The building was a part of cemetery, of graveyard, that was right here before the Second World War. In fact, before the war, there were 2 cemeteries in this place. 2 cemeteries because there were 2 Jewish communities, we can say, close to this place. First of all, maybe you know that Podgórze, so part of the district where we are right now, Podgórze, before the First World War, wasn't really Krakow. Yeah, Podgórze was a different independent city, smaller city. But then during the First World War in 1916, Podgórze became part of the main city, became part of Krakow. Krakow basically developed this way that Krakow ate smaller cities, like all around. And that is why, because Podgórze was a different city, separate city, the Jewish community of Podgórze, they had their own Jewish cemetery. They had their own Jewish graveyard, which was located just right there behind you. Now, and that one was from the 19th century, 1887. Now we have the second cemetery, like I said, and this one was the new cemetery for Krakow community, and that was organized right here. Ladies and gentlemen, right here, I promised you the place where everything started right here, because yes, in fact, both graveyards were demolished. The ghetto already existed, like I said, And in November and December 1942, there was a group of 150 inmates of the ghetto, people taken from the ghetto, forced to come here, and they crushed tombstones, they removed tombstones, they removed bodies as well, because all of that you can see right there. In fact, they are, you can say, the grave basements. That's the top of the cross, and that hill right there was the second place of mass killing. And the last one is the place number 3 is marked with the monument, and you can see this block of concrete right there, also between trees right there on the horizon. I can see that from my position, and maybe I'm slightly bit taller, so that's another thing. But we can see those three places. We'll move back just for a moment to the photo you can find right there, because I'll tell you that not only Jewish Poles were came like this, yeah, from the place of pre-burial house down there. So like I told you, that place was the place of the Podgórze community graveyard, but also the first place of mass killing. Those barracks right here is just something I would like to tell you about, and you can see by the way shape of those barracks just right away, just in front of you, and you can see, like, you know, you can see 2 levels, and exactly you can see that just like this, yeah. So there were 6 barracks right here, plus 1 right there for Polish inmates, for Polish prisoners, because remember that when it comes to people in a camp, like I said, huge majority of inmates, they were Jewish, they were of Jewish ethnicity, but also there was something for ethnic Poles. Right here was the place that always the inmates of the camp, they started the day with this place, and they finished as well, because they were always gathered here at the beginning. So we have 6 a.m. They're already right here, numbered. That's how we have this roll call, yeah, because one by one is like just they are numbered, they are counted, and then it's like just the units supervisors, they report how many people they have. Then it's like just departure to work. In fact, the place was not only for counting, it's not only for announcements right here, but also there was a place of executions right here and punishments. Mm-hmm. Basically, when it comes to like just to punishments right here, there was no punishment code, or the punishment was not really organized, at least till 1944 right here. Now why? Because in labor camp like this, the forced labor camp, this Zwangsarbeitslager, this one was in fact subordinated to SS and police commander of where the barracks were.
See how the flowers define the square where the flowers stop. There's a clear line. Yeah. Now the square is all covered in wildflowers. It's really it's something when the square is marked by flowers, and then it changes.
It's right there. Children under 14 years old, they were not allowed to enter the camp. Yeah, so all of them, they were executed just on site right there in the ghetto, or they were transported to the camps, to the death camps. Yet in fact, it's like just something about 300-400 children. They were smuggled. They were taken right here to the camp. There was time for bed making, barrack cleaning, bathhouse, latrine. They were actually just right here in this part. And then after that, as you know, 6 a.m. there was upper Platz, then departure to work. During the work, by the way, they had 1 hour break to eat something. They were coming back late afternoon, eating something again, and then it's like just having this kind of free spare time right here. 10 p.m. The camp was closed, and every single person was outside of the barrack after 10 p.m. It was, by the way, announced by one of members of this incredible musician's family, Rosner's right here, Wilek Rosner. He announced the curfew, so 10 p.m. Then it's like just if you think about the people right here, also how they looked. There was a difference between the forced labor camp and concentration camp. There was the building of Jewish Healthcare Association. Yeah, so also the children, the sick kids, they were right here. There were vaccinations, by the way, also in this place. So that would be the building that was taken by Amon Ged at the very beginning when he entered the place, because the place was made of red brick. That is why every single house later where Amon Ged lived was called as the Red House. So that is why many times on the maps or these lectures, different books, you may find these lectures that Amon Ged lived in the Red House. He lived in 3 red houses. Yeah, because that was the first one, then the one with radio station close to the gate, and then the final one was the villa. Right. Is that is like just simply Oskar Schindler having his factory and having also just Jewish laborers right there. Even before the camp was established, he profited from slave labor. Yeah, it's like just remember that's the man who saved with his decision over 1,000 people. Yet, when you think about him at the beginning, that's a man who profited from slave labor. And then it's like just what happens when the ghetto is liquidated. At the beginning, Oskar Schindler works and finally lives in a factory, and his workers, laborers, they are located in the ghetto. Yeah, so on daily basis they move from the ghetto, they move to the factory. Then it's the end of the ghetto, March 1943, and the beginning of the camp right here. So all of those people who survived the ghetto, they were brought here. Yeah, so that is how suddenly Oskar Schindler has all of his employees right here. Yeah, and then it's like just, so those people, they have in fact it's like just those yellow stripes, because they work outside. Yeah, because every single morning they are led outside of the camp, they are brought back evening. Right here, and also just all those vehicles, so I'm not really sure if you can hear me properly. So once again, 1964, we have the monument just created by Vital Tanskiewicz. But it's actually, first of all, let's see what do we find right here. So 5 figures you can find with this kind of stone just above their heads, right? So they are crushed by that. Also, another significant thing is which is this hole in the place of their chest, of their hearts, and that is why it's like just when I was a kid, or just people they call that pomník vervaných srdc. So you could call it as ripped out. Was simply visible from the place of the barracks, yeah, because behind it you would have Bergstrasse and then the barracks right there, and the prison, the prisoners part of the camp. There was the second place of mass killing. So I told you that it started with the old graveyard right there with those 2 pits right there, and that was only the beginning right there for something like a few months, and in September 43 the place moved here. And it's like just because exactly this fortification all around, that is, as you can see, completely leveled right here. Just we don't see that, but because this fortification outside had a moat and also inside had this hole, so that is why there will be places where people were buried, right? So this place was simply useful, yeah, for SS administration to kill people here and to bury them right away in the very same place. So the killing here happened between September 43 and we can say the beginning of February 44. But it's like you say, I promised you something about the language, and right here that was something that we could call as kennel, something for dogs, like it's the place, you know, to keep dogs, to train dogs as well, and they were dogs of Amon Ged. Before I'll tell you more about Amon Get, please remember he was obviously the most remembered, and he is the most recognized the commander of this camp. But he wasn't the only one. He wasn't even the first one. Yeah. When the camp was established, the first SS officer that was a commandant here was Horst Pilarczyk. This man, he wasn't organized in a good way, not at all. He was a drunkard, so quite soon he was replaced by Franz Josef Müller. The second man lasted, there was 1 month basically, and we have February 1943, and that's the scene where Amon Get in his car enters in Schindler's List. Like I said, it's like just the beginning of the end for Amon Get is the fall of his supervisor Julian Schörner, and then it's like just after a few months in September 44, Amon Get was arrested because of corruption right here and because of breaking all of the orders and so on and so forth. And then first he was taken to prison in Munich. And then it's like just finally he was taken as he was assessed by doctors as mentally unstable and mentally sick. He was taken to mental hospital. Yeah, right there he was arrested. In this place he was arrested by American soldiers. After the war he was brought to Krakow. Right here, and August 46 there was his trial. And September 1946 he was hanged in Krakow. House right there. You can find just like those blocks right there. There was Wachkaserne. Yes, so right there, Trawniki Männer, they were located right there, and just behind it, SS barracks. Behind it, behind the grey house, you can see the remains of the pre-burial house right there. So it was there, and also at least I can see the ruins. Behind it there was right there was